Welcome to This Is My Architecture. My name's Glenn and today I'm joined by David from Infor. David, tell us what does Infor do?
Infor is a large software company. We provide enterprise applications to over 90,000 customers worldwide, and we have about 50 multi-tenant products that we're taking to the cloud. So we're really excited about AWS and everything it can do for us.
Excellent. Did you build all of these 50 multi-tenant applications yourselves?
The original ones came through acquisitions, and we've had to basically take anything that an acquisition throws at us and then slowly get it up to cloud standards.
Right, so it must be a pretty complex environment, 50 applications, some of them have been developed by other organizations that you've bought over time. How do you go about testing and releasing new features into those test environments?
We have a product we call Windsor. It's a service that my team built, and the basic idea is we want to be able to set up, tear down, and run test cases and make sure that everything's going the way it should.
Right, I'm guessing each of these applications, they're built quite differently, different underlying technologies, etc. So maybe just draw up on the board for us just how you go about testing these applications.
Well, we use SWF. We consider just using Jenkins or something like that, but we like the flexibility that the workflows give us. And then we use Lambda and DynamoDB to run the tests.
Okay. And so why don't you just draw up, how are you actually scheduling these workflows?
We have a Lambda function that runs every 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. And this is what you refer to as the Windsor scheduler.
This is the scheduler. Yeah, and when it runs, the first thing it does is set itself to run every 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And using CloudWatch events scheduling?
Yes, we really like those.
Yeah. Okay.
So once it runs, the next thing it does is it goes out to DynamoDB, looks in the registry, and gets the different workflows out of that registry.
Mm-hmm. And some of these applications, I'm guessing, would have multiple workflows due to their size and complexity.
Yeah, and it depends on the scenario that we're testing too.
Okay.
So once it has all those workflows, it goes ahead and sets them up in SWF, and then comes back in 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes when it runs, it kicks off another function that we call the decider. Mm-hmm. And the decider goes out and sees where each of the workflows is, and then based on where it is, does the next step.
Okay, so it works out whether it needs to stop at that point or progress to the next stage of the workflow.
Exactly.
And then, so with testing, you're generating a lot of data as well around the success of each of those tests. How are you collecting that information?
Well, each time SWF runs an activity task, we have a Lambda function that sits out there and does whatever that task is. And so you may have one for, say, doing your setup, one for collecting that data. Mm-hmm. And once we get that data, then we go back and put it back into DynamoDB.
Okay.
Once we have it.
Right. And then at the completion of all of this testing, the scheduler detects that they're all finished and sets itself back to 24 hours.
Exactly.
Excellent. And what's been the biggest benefit of this architecture to you, David, at Infor?
I think the biggest benefit is cost. The actual infrastructure you see here runs for under about $1 a month, and that's less than a cup of coffee.
Right.
The actual applications, because they're a little bit bigger, more instances, they run anywhere from $1 to $5 per run.
Excellent. Well, David, thank you for joining us from Infor. It's great to hear about how you're testing complex multi-tenanted enterprise applications and testing for less than the cost of a cup of coffee. Thank you for joining us on this episode of This Is My Architecture.